If attraction is not a choice, is it possible to change yourself to change who you're attracted to?
Not really. It's innate. I mean, everybody's got a type.
I guess maybe he's attracting poor girls, like bad type of girls.
Well, you still have to vet. Just because you're attracted to somebody doesn't mean that they're a good person, that they're honest, or that they're loyal. It's you got to vet their character, and it shouldn't just be the people you date. It should be your friends as well.
Mhm.
It should be the people that you associate with, or the people that you go into business with, or clients that you get involved with. It's like characters, everything. If you get in, like I wrote about this in Mastering Yourself. There's a guy I got involved with in business, and it's like he was very successful, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and every time he was telling us a story about a business he had in the past with a business partner, and he would laugh. He'd say, "Oh, if you ever talk to that guy, he won't have anything nice to say about me, and he hates my guts." And we all kind of looked at it, was like, "Oh, well, that was a long time ago. He's grown. He's evolved beyond that." And then he basically treated me the same way. And I was like,
Well,
uh,
he kind of told you what you're gonna
yeah,
do.
he
Yeah.
told me. Maya Angelou said, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them the first
Yeah.
time. But I thought, like, well, that was kind of in the past. We've all grown and we've evolved, and we're enlightened people. We're enlightened beings now. It's gonna be fine. And it wasn't fine.
But that's just something you don't say to workers in general. I don't go to a job and say, "Yeah, those people hated me," or like, "Yeah, I definitely screwed it up with them." It's
Well,
just
some
like
people do though. Like
it's
these,
just
They
it's like
tell on
people do.
it's
themselves.
like weird. Like, why would I say that?
Maybe it's like a way of them absolving them of the guilt from it. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
because if you still get involved, you're like, hey, if you're too stupid to know what I'm like, and I told you up
Um,
front, and then I screw you over, even though I told you that I screwed everybody else over that I'd gone into business with, well, you deserve what you get
yeah,
because you did business with me, even though I told you how I was.
I get yeah.
It's like the scorpion and the frog analogy. You guys ever heard that one?
No.
or right, so, yeah.
So there's this is a great parable for life. So there's a frog. He's like swimming in this pond. And it's pretty big, and a scorpion comes over, and he's like, man, because scorpion can't swim. And he's like, hey, Mr. Frog, let me jump on your back and paddle me over to the other side. I need to get over there. And he's like, you're a scorpion. If you get on my back, you're gonna sting me, and then I'll die. And the scorpion goes, well, if I get on your back and I sting you, then you're going to sink and I'm going to sink with you and then we're both going to die. And the frog thought, he goes, yeah, it makes sense. Why would he do that? He's like, all right, hop on. Scorpion hops on his back and the frog's he's swimming, doing his breaststroke slowly. Gets about out to the middle of the pond or the lake or whatever. And he's like, ah, and he gets all paralyzed and he's going on. He's like, what are you doing? Now we're both going to die. And he goes, hey, I'm a scorpion, man. That's just what I do.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
So he
before,
died
yeah.
too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
it is. But it's like the guy I got involved with business wise, he basically dicked over everybody he'd ever gone in business with, and they all hated his guts. And I thought I was going to be different
Oh,
because we were enlightened. We had grown. We were more mature at that point in our lives. But
you were
he's
woke.
yeah, woke. Definitely wasn't woke, but it didn't work out well. It didn't end well. It ended just like every other business relationship that he had had. Just like his marriages.
It's the same thing with like people like, oh, all my exes are the problem. All my past
Yeah.
relationships are all toxic. It's like they're the common denominator in that. Like
Mhm.
they're probably gonna end the same way with you. You know.
I think that's why he asked the question, is because I guess he's trying to change from always attracting the toxic girls or the bad girls. Like he has a habit of being really attracted to them, but maybe he's not as attracted to the nice girls or like the hardworking girls. So he's
Well, if you
like,
keep attracting the same kind of person, the problem is you. That means again, in that case, he's getting caught up on his emotions and his physical attraction, and then he ignores the red flags that are there. I did a video newsletter the other day for a guy. Totally in love with this girl, and it was the hottest woman he'd ever been with. Sent me a picture, and he just shared the email because he wanted to warn other guys. And so this guy, he's originally, I think, from Poland, and he was living in the States, and so he sent me a picture of his girl. She was smoking hot. I can under. He's like, "It's the hottest girl I ever been with." And so she, I guess after about 3 months of dating, they were raw dogging it. They weren't practicing safe sex. He slipped one past the goalie. She got knocked up, and then a few weeks after she got pregnant, she's like, "Oh, by the way, I've been on antidepressants for years, and I stopped taking those because I don't want to do anything to harm the baby." And then anybody that knows anything about antidepressants, it's like you have to take those things regularly. If you're on and off them, or you're mixing it with alcohol, it's not a good combination. And so when she went off her meds 2-3 weeks later, she just became a completely different human being. And they did not get along. And he tried to stay in it for the kid, but after his son was born, it's like she was just unbearable to be with, and they broke up. And he tried co-parenting with her, but now she's suing him, trying to get a third of his income now for child support. And he's only able to see his son 4 times a month. And his ex-girlfriend always gives him a hard time when he goes over. It's time to pick up the kid. And apparently, I guess the last time he went over, I guess because she lives with her mother, who's also kind of a nut. And his ex-girlfriend pushed him, and he fell into her mother and then fell on top of her. And they called the police. And so now he's, got law enforcement involved. And so now when he wants to see his kid, they're waiting for the court to assign somebody to basically be a chaperone for their visits. So now, he gets to see his son 4 times a month with somebody from the state that's going to have to be there to have a supervised visit. And it's like he's lost a bunch of weight. He can't eat. And he's just like, it's a mess. And he admits, he's like, I saw the red flags, but she was so hot, I couldn't help myself until it was too late, because he didn't take the time to get to know her, because he was only with her for about 3 months when she got pregnant, and he didn't even know she was on antidepressants. And it wasn't until weeks after she found out she was pregnant that she told him that she had stopped taking them completely. And, but those things say right on the bottle, you're going to have withdrawals, and bad things can happen if you just all of a sudden go off of those. And he's like, she became a completely different person. I had that happen with a girlfriend I had no idea. We've been dating for 6 months, and she had the meds in her purse. I never ever saw them. She never revealed that to me. And then she came to visit me one time, and we were sitting in bed, and she's like, "Oh, by the way, I've been on antidepressants the last 2 years, and my prescription ran out 3 days ago, and because things are so great between us, I'm not going to take them anymore." I thought to myself, oof, that's probably not good. And then, like, within a few weeks, she just became a different person. Because, I mean, I saw it with my mother when she went on and off her meds. Because she was a psychotic schizophrenic, and people who have schizophrenia, they need to be on medication. And my dad, his former fiance, she was a manic depressive. She was happy, and she's like, "Oh, things are so great. I don't want to be on these anymore." She stopped taking them, and then she hung herself a month later. And it's like, it's not good. So I mean, those things are going to happen, and if you keep attracting the same kind of people, then obviously you're putting the vibe out there. You're whatever pond you're fishing in that you use to meet the people that you date and become intimately involved with, you're attracting one low character person after another, and that is because his selection and vetting process sucks. So he needs to go fish in a different pond, find a different social network to develop his social life. Because if you constantly attract the same people over and over, the problem is you. It's your approach, where you're fishing, how you're going about meeting women. I see that stuff a lot with dudes that exclusively lean on online dating to meet girls, because beautiful women that have a good social structure, good social network, good relationships with their family, and they're relatively fit and attractive. It's just in their daily lives. They're constantly meeting good high character type men like themselves, and they don't need to be on a dating app. So it doesn't mean you can't find a good woman on a dating app, but you're just going to have a high incidence of people that are fucked up on there, and they're on there for a reason, because their social network is not up to snuff, or they're just people of low character, or they're women that can't keep a friend because they always dick their female friends over.
Do doctors recommend you to get off of that when you're pregnant?
I don't know. I've never been pregnant on antidepressants, so if that ever happens, I'll let you know.
I don't think they do.
Huh.
Let me see.
I don't know. I do know you're not supposed to mix alcohol with them because that just, makes you have really loopy behavior. But somebody's got a chemical imbalance, they need to be on them. Like a psychotic schizophrenic, they got to be on meds. Otherwise, they're not normal.
It says no. That it depends on the medication that you're taking. If it's like a super high dose, then yes, but majority you can still take your meds. I wonder if she would go back to normal and their relationship would work if she started taking them again.
Who?
That guy.
That guy? Well, it takes a few weeks for them to take effect when you go off of them. It's not like my dad's fiance. She went off of them, tried to commit suicide, wasn't successful. They pumped her stomach and everything, and then she got committed for several days to a mental institution, and so she racked up a bunch of debt. She was back on her meds, but those things take 2 to 4 weeks to really kind of start to take effect. And in that time, I think 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it was, after she tried to kill herself, which would have been the fourth time in her life that she tried to take her life. The fifth time she hung herself and she was successful then.
Hmm.
But the first time she tried to commit suicide, she was like 21. And so she was in her, her late 50s?